Dearest reader, it is a truth universally acknowledged that shifts are an important part of one's wardrobe, but this truth has been ignored by the producers and costume designers of Bridgerton. Today, I intend to right this wrong. Shifts are often left out of historical costumes in period dramas because they are not quote-unquote sexy enough. They do cover a large amount of skin, to be fair. Now, shifts are long and loose-fitting undergarments that are worn closest to the skin under all other layers. They are there to provide warmth, catch all the sweat, and keep the outer layers clean from the body's oils. Regency shifts are very similar to 18th century shifts, so I am using the American Duchess pattern by Simplicity number 8579 to make this with some slight modifications, which I will show you as we continue throughout this video. First, I laid out my fabric. Again, I'm using some white cotton thrifted bed sheets. They are some of my absolute favorite things to use while making underpinnings. Regency shifts are generally a little bit longer than 18th century shifts, so I'm adding about 4 inches to the end of the pattern, front and back. Regency shifts are also a little tighter through the bust area, so I am taking in my pattern just a little bit where my bust area is. Not a lot though, just by about 2 sizes. Regency shifts also had shorter sleeves, so I am folding the sleeve pattern in half to make it a nice short sleeve shift. Wow, that's a little bit of a tongue twister there. My sleeve is now just a smidge longer than the gussets that's going to be attached to it. Also, I did not want to cut 4 pieces out separately of the gores that go on the side of the shift, so I folded the fabric over, so then I just have to cut it once. I like to save time where I can, because cutting out the project is probably my least favorite part of the project, but it's also so important. I then placed my front and back pieces of the shift together, and I'm going to go ahead and sew the pieces of that together that, well, need to be attached. So I'm going to pin the shoulder seams together. Also, this is Lucky. She's my little lucky lady and the best sewing helper there ever was. Also at this time, I measured how far the sleeves with the gusset were going to go down on the side of the shift so that I knew where the side seams needed to start and end. Well, eventually I'll figure out how they end. I also went ahead and hemmed the sleeves. And I also pinned the pieces of the gore together. So we got 2 little triangles to make a bigger triangle. And then I figured out, well, where they go along the shift. So we were able to figure out where the side seam needed to end with that. I then went ahead and I inserted the gore into the side of the skirt and I sewed it in place. Next, it was time to insert the gussets into the sleeves. This can be a little bit tricky. I have a video where I go into this process in more detail, and I'll link it below. But essentially, you want to think of the gussets like a diamond. And you are attaching 2 sides of the diamond to the sleeves, and you are attaching 2 sides of the diamond to the shift. I then inserted the sleeve and the gusset into the shift and sewed it into place after pinning it securely. All that was left to do at this time was to hem the neckline and to do a hem at the bottom of the shift. My shift was then done, and therefore it is time for the grand reveal. I was happy with how this shift turned out, but after wearing it a couple of times, I decided I needed to lower the neckline in the back even more to go with some of my dresses that have lower necklines. Also, these blue socks are from Samson Historical, just in case you were wondering. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to subscribe and click that bell for notifications, because next time I'll be showing you how I made a pair of Regency long stays. And they were the first stays I've ever made, so it was quite an adventure that you'll be sure to want to go on with me. Thanks so much for sewing with me. Bye!